you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying Action Motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan here.
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride, Ami Houde.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Ami Houde, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning. It is definitely game on today. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. I'm your host, Jim Beaver. And, man, locked, loaded. It's all going down today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. The man, the myth, the legend, last American to race in Formula One, your new 2015 Red Bull Global Rallycross champion, Scott Speed, is going to be on the line here in just a minute. We're going to be talking 2015 Red Bull GRC, maybe a little Formula E, and who knows what else. And we got a ton of fan questions you guys asked on the Red Bull Global Rallycross social media feeds yesterday. We're going to be asking all those and more at Mr. Scott Speed here in just a little bit. And then we're going to dissect score qualifying, SEMA, Stadium Super Trucks, Red Bull GRC, all of it going down in Vegas. We're going to have all that news, notes, results, and a whole lot more in the second segment of the show. Also, Endurocross got a heck of a championship battle shaping up there. We're going to be talking about that. Kicking off hour number 2, tons of guests. Jenn Hellstrom is going to be calling in. She's going to be talking Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. That's right, inducting a few legends into the Hall of Fame last week during SEMA week there in Las Vegas. Jenn was there on the scene, and she's going to talk us through what happened at the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. And then capping off the show in a huge way today, we've got my sidekick, my partner in crime, Ami Houde. She's going to be on the line like every Monday, but calling in with her, we're going to have Matt Bisceglia, Supercross motocross racer extraordinaire, announcing a huge change for him going into the 2016 Supercross season. New team, new bike, new colors, and we're going to be breaking all that down with Matt Bisceglia. Definitely looking forward to that. It's going to be one hell of a show today. Man, we're cramming a ton into 2 hours, a couple of huge guests, and, kicking things off with Scott Speed. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. If you got any questions for Scott, not too late to get him in, or Matt Bisceglia, or Jenn Hellstrom, any of the guests, you got them for me. Doesn't matter. Hit me up on Twitter at JimBeaver15. That's at JimBeaver15, and we will definitely get those questions cycled in and answered throughout the show. And if you got any comments on anything that happened in Vegas last week, SEMA, Stadium Super Trucks, Red Bull GRC, score qualifying. I know huge news around score qualifying, and some great qualifying, some stuff on the event side that's a bit questionable. We're going to be talking all of that here on the show. So if you've got any questions, comments, you just want to say your piece, hit me up at JimBeaver15. I would love to hear from you. Love to hear what you have to say on all things that went down in Vegas. I know it's crazy. We just keep talking about Vegas, but you got so many huge events there in Las Vegas all at the same time. With GRC and SEMA, Stadium Super Trucks, score qualifying. It's just, Off-Road Hall of Fame. I mean, it's like literally Action Motorsports shuts down for a week. I mean, we had Formula D there putting on demos at the Ford out front and SEMA Ignited. It literally is the place to be. But right now, calling in your 2015 Red Bull GRC champ, Scott Speed. How's everything going, Scott?
Hey, it's going great. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good, man. I guess I shouldn't even ask you how things are going because I know things are going well for you. I mean, congrats. It's, got to be a huge weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah. No, it was great. It was a great celebration, great weekend in general. I mean, at the time, the team was overly dramatic with all the rain and all the stuff that was going on through the weekend. But as it turns out, it just ended up great for us.
Yeah, well, and I know going into that, I mean, I looked at the points and going into that weekend, I mean, you had a pretty good cushion, but, there's always in the back of your mind, going in, you're like, all right, I think it was an 8th place you needed or something like that, right? Going in and you're thinking, all right, this should be pretty easy, but it's GRC. I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah, I think made it worse. I think I would have rather it just been a really close battle because then I could have just focused on everything like normal. But as it turns out, yeah, I mean, we needed to basically play defense, which is very, very difficult to do in GRC. So it really kind of plays with you because that it's easy to have a DNF.
Yeah, it definitely is. And then, coupling all that, I mean, I know there was a point in one of the heat races where, we all know how Red Bull GRC is. And as much as they've cleaned up the driving, I mean, it seemed like Vegas, stuff hit the fan. And I know, just out of nowhere, there was a point where you end up in the wall and you had to be thinking, oh, no, Well,
I think it comes to, it's been cleaned up a lot because, the quality of drivers has gone up. The quality of teams has gone up. There's still a couple guys that I think, as time goes on, will end up being phased out, and the racing will get even more better. I think that's the word, more better.
Yeah.
And, it's always improving. For us, it was fortunate that any incidents we had were recoverable. I like throwing out those custom Scott Speed words. There's another one for you. And, we were able to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, talking about the season as a whole, I mean, I've been covering this series since the beginning and on and off announced for them and done radio and everything else. But it seemed like going into the season, I mean, anytime Scott Speed shows up, I mean, it seems like, you are definitely, your times in qualifying, I mean, your lap times, you're always, you're one of the guys to beat, let's put it that way. I mean, you are one of the guys to beat in the series. And it seemed like, you started out the season and things are going well. And then there was a point where mid-season it was like, the rug got pulled out from under you. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, here it is at the end of the season. And it's, both Andretti drivers sitting 1 and 2 going into the final. I mean, kind of take us through this roller coaster of the season because it definitely was that.
It was very much so a roller coaster. It obviously started out really well. We were quick. And then we hit a patch of just some reliability issues that we had to fix. And, you're going to have that with a brand new car in a series like Rallycross that's so difficult to survive, let's say. And we needed to address the issues, and we needed time to fix it. And unfortunately, that cost us a lot of points right away in the series, in the championship rather. And once we remedied those issues, and then it was kind of game on. And we were then able to go to work on the car and improve the car and get it, where it needed to be. And that's when you saw sort of, the wins start coming on. And I'm really even looking more to this off season to make another big step forward with the car because, like I said, it's only the first year we've ran it, and there's still lots to do for it. And it's pretty incredible that right out of the box it was as competitive as it was.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question. I mean, it's got to have you excited. Here you guys go, and obviously Andretti, anytime they throw their hat in the ring in any motorsports series, I mean, they've got a target on their back. But coming in here, it was it was a new platform, and you guys started out with the Polos, moved on to the Beetles. But I think how has it been developing this car? And I mean, it really has to have you excited for the future, knowing that this car isn't fully developed, and you guys are already winning races and championships.
Yes, it does, and it's also exciting where the series is going. I think that if you look back to last year where we almost won the championship with a Polo that was a rental car for us, basically. We won lots of races with that thing, including in X Games, and if we would have put that thing on the grid this year, we would have finished last every race. So it's just remarkable how competitive the series has gotten and how quickly it's grown. And that's super exciting because now, to have the success we're having now with the Beetle, it just means that much more because we know we're beating the best in the world with this.
Yeah. Well, and that being said, I mean, Red Bull GRC, it's so weird the way you almost found this series, I mean, going back to the beginning, I mean, I think I had you on air the Monday after you won in Brazil, and that was kind of a last-minute deal, and they had that star car, and you get invited, to go race this star car, and one off, you walk away with a gold in Brazil, and all of a sudden you found yourself a new home, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was a very interesting time, and if you look back on it now, it just seems like it's just so amazingly fortunate that to even have that opportunity and then to be able to turn that into sort of a full-time gig, and then now to be sitting, with the best organization in the business with Volkswagen and Andretti. It's been an amazing turn of events, and I'm just super fortunate to have gotten the opportunity and to be where we're sitting now.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, in talking about your relationship with Andretti, I know you've had the opportunity to go and do some Formula E, and I mean, how is that when you jump in one of those cars? I mean, it kind of, compare that to some of the other, open wheel racing you've done. I mean, how is that? Did you take to the car pretty easy, or is it a totally different animal?
Well, the electric aspect of the Formula E was totally different, but it was still an open wheel car. And was super encouraging because I was able, open wheel racing will always be what I consider myself the best at for me personally, as far as disciplines, if you will. And, going over there and racing Formula One will always be my biggest accomplishment. But to go back over there and get back into an open wheel car after so long and still be able to compete with the best in the world in open wheel racing was honestly a bit of a surprise for me. So to have that opportunity and to do as well as we did was great. And it's fun to be able to step back and go like, okay, open wheel racing is great. I love doing it. But to be able to come back and to get back into a rallycross car and go to a weekend of GRC racing and to really see where I feel the future of motorsports is also great. I wouldn't trade my spot for any other series right now.
Yeah, well, and that being said, I mean, I find the series, you've been around motorsports. I mean, NASCAR, Formula One, you've had, been around some amazing teams. I mean, to me, I get excited, seeing this series that I still consider young, and you've got Andretti coming in, and obviously, you're, just won a championship with them, but, you've got Ganassi coming in, and and Houde, and a lot of these teams from other motorsports, and we've heard rumors of some other open wheel teams. I mean, it's got to have you excited. You kind of blaze the trail there, and it seems like now all these big organizations are taking a look at GRC, going, hey, we need to be in that space.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for anyone. It's clearly the fastest growing motorsports in the country, and where it is right now, the big teams can't afford not to do it because it's just going to grow and grow, and the more you delay coming, and the more you delay the inevitable, which will be that all the big teams will be here, the further behind the eight ball you're going to be. And we're lucky that Michael made the decision relatively early to get involved. And that put us right now in a position where it's now going to be our third year next year. And that experience will definitely pay off.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of these new teams coming in, you guys have a championship and a couple of years of development under your belt, and, and they're starting from ground zero. Yeah,
absolutely. No, it'll definitely be an advantage moving forward as it becomes even more competitive next year, and we'll be ready for the challenge.
Nice. Well, before, it's been interesting because I've had you on air, and I think I was talking with Jillian Andretti via email, and we had you on after your first X Games gold. I think we had you on after your gold in Austin a year ago. So now we've got you on, and I said, I want to do something different. So I emailed GRC, and they were all for it. So we put it out to some fan questions because I wanted to get some new questions, right? So we got like 8 or 10 really cool questions, kind of off the wall. Cool. Pretty fun stuff. So we're gonna shoot you some of like 8 or 9 questions. They're totally fan related, direct from people that follow the series. So here we go.
Awesome.
First one is from Connor_Paris. What's your favorite track that you've run all year long?
Favorite track all year. I'm going to say Vegas, because I think every year GRC makes the championship better, and they're improving the tracks every week. And the Vegas track was definitely a really special one. I thought it looked really great on camera. It was an amazing location, and yeah, for me, it's the best event they've done yet.
Yeah, it seems like every year in Vegas, it's like they want to cap things off, at a high level, and it seems like, they pull a rabbit out of their hat, and it's always, just the way it looks from the outside. I mean, it makes for great TV.
Exactly. They're always up at the bar.
Yeah. All right, next one from Long Island's Finest Cars. Is there anything you would change about the Beetle going into 2016?
I think there's lots of stuff we want to change, honestly. Can't tell you exactly what we're going to do to it, but there's definitely a lot of stuff we want to change and a lot of ways we think we can improve it. And I'm really, really looking forward to the off season and getting to work on it.
Cool. All right, next one from Adam.C. Has the last name Speed ever helped you in your career?
I'm not sure if, I've never, I guess, been in an exact situation where it's been, said for sure this has helped, but there's no way it's hurt.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure that it's been a small asset. To what extent, I'm not sure, but it's certainly been cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't see it hurting you at all. I mean, you could have been Scott Smith, and just kind of an everyday name, Scott Speed. It rings a bell. People remember it, right? Yeah, exactly.
All
right, so we've got a next one. This one's a little bit long, but pretty cool question from GRC fan Page. Is GRC as fulfilling as F1 or NASCAR was to you as a driver? And now that you've done Formula E, would you ever be interested in jumping in an Andretti IndyCar for the 500 if you were given the opportunity?
Okay, so two-part question. We'll go with it's definitely fulfilling. I think that whenever you come into something that's as competitive and you're able to win, it's a joy. It's memorable, and it's certainly a big accomplishment. As far as jumping in an open wheel car, I think the idea of maybe doing a road course in an Indy car is not completely off the table, but certainly running an Indy car around an oval is something that is not for me.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we'll see me in an Indy car around Indy anytime soon.
Yeah. I definitely think that would be, pretty awesome tie-in, during the off season, and depending on, when IndyCar, how their schedule fits in. But I'd love to see you on a road course. I think that'd be awesome. Even if it was just in a one-off, I think it'd, be a fun, I think it'd be something fun and definitely draw a lot of attention to you and Andretti.
Yeah, it's not impossible by any means. I'd be willing to do it. I'm sure it would be quick. But the oval stuff it's not for me. I don't think it's. I got kids now, man. I don't know. It's just not. I think it's too dangerous.
Yeah, no, I get you, man. Some of the speeds they're pulling around some of these tracks that aren't even. To be honest with you, I think it's scary that they're even running Indy cars on them. It's just it's almost ridiculous how fast they're going.
Yeah.
So, all right, next one from Mayda OB. Now that GRC's over, what does the off season look like for Scott Speed?
Well, it will not slow down because I now I own a hobby shop and an RC racetrack called Speed RC and speedrc.com. So we sell a bunch of high-performance RC car parts, and I have a racetrack that I race 3 nights a week. So every waking moment is either going to be spent doing preseason testing or at my RC track.
Nice.
So no standing still time.
That's got to be fun, something for you to do with the kids too. I mean, they got to love it as much as you do, huh?
Oh, yes, absolutely. To be honest, it's really incredible how good my oldest Juliet is at it already. It's pretty cool. And she's just as competitive as her dad, so she gets really mad if she crashes. It's awesome.
Nice. All right, so GRC photographer off and on, Luis Yeo. It's a two-part question. First one, I don't know if there's a background to this, but he asks, question number one, Nutella or peanut butter?
Nutella or peanut? Well, they're not the same thing at all. I mean, peanut butter, on a daily basis with some jelly, every day is on the menu. But Nutella is probably the greatest thing on the planet. To be fair, I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. But they're two different things. Can't compare.
All right. And the second part of that, budget not an issue, not including F1 or GRC. If you had just basically unlimited budget to go run any series in the world, where would you race?
I'd be here. If you're not including, so not counting Formula One or GRC, where would I race? Unlimited budget.
Yeah.
You know what? At the moment, if I had unlimited budget, I don't think I would race. I think I'd be a team. I think I'd own a team and sponsor and pick up some drivers that don't have funds themselves. Because I mean, as you guys all know, racing takes money, and there's a lot of really, really, really talented guys out there that don't get the chance or the opportunity to even drive. And if I didn't have to worry about money or a budget, I'd do what Michael does. I'd have a team, and I'd give these young guys that have the talent a shot, and to watch them succeed, I think would be just as fulfilling.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing I've always admired about Andretti, and you know, I've only met Michael once, but you know, I'm sure you can attest to this. I mean, he was at a point in his career where he was still driving at an elite level, but you know, he kind of saw the future and took a step to the side, and you know, and allowed some of these other guys to come in and drive for him. And I've always respected that about him. You know, he looked at furthering motorsports instead of his own personal agenda.
Yeah, no, Michael's awesome. I like Michael a lot. I think we have a really similar personality. And I think it means, you know, as much, you know, for him for his team to do well as it did for him when he won races. So, good dude. I like him a lot.
Nice. Then our last one, it's kind of two fans sent in the similar type question, so we'll just kind of hit them both at you. But Action the Hitman Jackson and Christian Leetjeb. Kind of a two-part deal, but how did you get your start in racing? And was it kind of a family thing? And how did you get your first sponsor? And then the other part is I'm 19 and would like to start racing. What's the best way to start to get into rally?
Okay, so for me, I started racing because my dad raced go-karts when I was a kid, and he was very good. He was a national champion many times. So I was always following him to the track. And when I was 11 years old, I got to drive a go-kart for the first time. And it was just one of those things where as soon as I sat in it, I was good at it. I mean, right away, day one. And so my dad got me a go-kart. We had to buy my first kart. He bought a used go-kart, and we went racing around the country. And it was clear that I was pretty decent at it. I was actually really good at it. And then my second year ever racing, we went to the big national race, the biggest race they have every year with our own private equipment, and we ended up winning it. And from there, I was basically a fully sponsored guy. I always had, you know, kart companies giving me go-karts and tires and all that, and that's how we were able to afford to race everywhere. But to go from go-karts to cars is very, very difficult because it requires a lot more money. And I was very fortunate that when I was a kid, there was lots of scholarship programs. So, all the races that we win, big national races, etc., they always got me, you know, scholarships to do some car stuff. Yeah. And as soon as I got in cars, I was pretty quick at those as well. And then eventually it was Red Bull having this American driver search to find the next American Formula One team and driver that I got an opportunity to try out for. And I won that scholarship and went to Europe, and the rest is history.
Yeah, nice. And you know, somebody's trying to break in. You know, 19, trying to, you know, wants to ultimately drive rally cars. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, you know, where I would tell them to start. I mean, it's pretty tough. I mean, it's just a lot of doors that need to open. You know, I guess you're right. Get in a go-kart and go out and have some fun, and you know, maybe things take off, right?
Look, it's two levels. Honestly, you have to have the ability and the talent. And you have to be willing to meet people and to socialize really well. I think Tanner is the best example of someone who's made it more realistically. You know, I made it at a time where I didn't have to find any money. I could just concentrate on going fast, and was lucky enough that people at that time saw it and were willing to sponsor me and take me to where I needed to go to race cars, which nowadays is harder and harder. You know, someone like Tanner's been really good at understanding the business side of racing and that you need sponsors, and you need to give them return on their investment, and you need to have the big, social media game, and you need to, do all these things that racing drivers have to do these days. And that requires finding the sponsors and the money to pay for the racing. Yeah. So, that is as important, if not more important right now. So, getting to work, talking to people, and getting to know as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, and this is a question for me. How has the transition been, because I know going into, I think it was Brazil, you really hadn't, you'd had very little time, racing anything on the dirt. How has that been? Obviously some of these tracks have more, quote, gravel in rally terms than pavement. But how has that transition been for you? And is it something you'd like to try? I know Tanner's jumping into some short course trucks here and there. Is that something you'd be interested in?
I'm always wanting to try whatever. I never say never. But at the moment, I'm very happy where I'm at. I like to be able to focus on one thing, and right now that's certainly Rallycross. I enjoy the aspect of the different tracks. I'm excited to see what they do next year because it's always evolving. Yeah. And excited to see what they bring out for us next year.
Nice. Well, I got to tell you, appreciate you taking the time. I know, it's definitely been a big week for you, but congratulations on the championship, and, have a great off season, my friend.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks a lot, Scott.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Take it easy, buddy. All right. That was Scott Speed, your 2015 Red Bull Global Rallycross champ, and man, always fun catching up with Scott, and it's been quite some time since I've had him on air, and man, it's fun to catch up. You can tell he's definitely amped on Red Bull GRC, and rightfully so, man. Him and Andretti, a great season from them, and obviously Tanner, his teammate, great season by Tanner as well. And going into next year, you got to think. That team with the success they showed towards the end of the year, and man, in LA, I just look back, it was like the turning point there for everything, with Tanner taking those 2 wins, and and Scott a couple of podiums, just a phenomenal turnaround for them. And like we said, it was definitely a roller coaster. And you look at the roller coaster for Scott and Tanner, and and on the flip side, you see the roller coaster that that Ken had, and it was like they kept crisscrossing. Ken would be on top and Scott down on the bottom, and then they'd cut back, and Scott would be on top and Ken on the bottom, and I'm not talking all the way on the bottom, but it was such a roller coaster. And that's what you got to love about Red Bull Global Rallycross. It's every single year it's going down to the wire in Vegas, and I know they've tweaked on their points and perfected things to the point where I think they've got a great formula, and it's just building on that and continue to make the tracks a little bit better and make just everything. I think the formula's right now. It's just continue to refine it, and and you're definitely going to see some great things in the future out of that series, and nothing but growth. I know TV numbers have continued to grow for them, and it's been definitely a great 2015. I don't want to say a turning point in the series, but I definitely think 2015, if that's a vision of what the future is, would definitely have some exciting stuff in store for you from Red Bull GRC. So getting to those results, we'll give you a rundown real quick. Yoni Weeman, Olsberg's MSE, I got to give a big shout out to Yoni. Last year's champ goes into this year, still hasn't had a victory, pulls one the last event of the year, and I told you back over the summer, I said Yoni at some point will take his first Red Bull GRC victory. Said I don't know when it'll be, but he'll take a victory. And you know what? He did it, and that's an I told you so. Once in a while as a radio host, I get to give you an I told you so, and today is definitely one of those times. I told you so. Yoni came through, took the win. Sebastian Eriksson, it was a 1-2 on the podium for the Red Bull Olsberg's teammates. Sebastian, phenomenal year for him as well. Scott Speed finding that third spot on the podium, enough to get him the 2015 championship. Then you got Steve Arpin, Brian Deegan. Solid effort by both those Ganassi cars. I got to say, a year under their belt at Ganassi, I'm looking forward to 2016. I think they're going to be one of the teams that run up front as well. We got Nelson Piquet, Austin Dine, Bucky Lassick, Tanner Faust, and Ken Block. Rounding out your top 10. Drivers' Championship, we all know who took it. It was Scott Speed. Second, Sebastian Eriksson, the rookie, sneaking into that second spot. Tanner Faust rounding out your top 3. And then looking at the lights, man, it was... it's been a great year of lights. It's just been a phenomenal year for these guys. Alex Keys taking the win. Andreas Warnerson in second. Oliver Eriksson third. Tanner Witten and Alejo Fernandez. Tanner Witten, my Dirtfish Rally teammate. Great maiden season for the Dirtfish team. And then Alejo Fernandez in fifth. Alejo, that AF Racing team, definitely has just been rock solid, man. Dedicating themselves to the lights program, and just a solid effort. Sixth place, Augie Lurch in a Robbie Buell entry. Bilko, a lot of you from Nitro Circus fame were wondering what happened to Bilko. He was down there DNF in 7th place, and Austin Cindric, another one of your front runners, he was down there in 10th place. LCQ this go around for GRC lights. Not often that we've had GRC lights LCQs, but definitely having one in Vegas. Another interesting notable that was running lights, Stefan Verdier. You know him from Supercars. He teamed with Reese Millen in those Hondais a few seasons back. He was running lights, having some mechanicals and some problems, and did not start the LCQ, so didn't make the final. Lights Championship, got to give it up for Mr. Oliver Eriksson. I got to call his very first ever race in a rallycross car. I'd only done folk racing in Europe. Came into New York last year. I was announcing that event with my buddy Jared Deanda, and Oliver Eriksson, good showing there. First ever time even driving a lights car. Great showing in New York. Fast forward a year, and he's the champ and took a victory here in Vegas. So you got to give not a victory in Vegas, but he is your champ. And then Austin Cindric and his teammate at Oldsburg and Miles Maroney are 1, 2, 3. Alejo Fernandez in 4th, and Dirtfish taking a top 5 in the championship with Tanner Witten. So that's about all she wrote. Supercars, Ford took home the Manufacturers' Championship. Volkswagen very close in 2nd. Subaru in 3rd. So I don't know. That's about it for the 2015 Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship. An amazing year, and I'm definitely looking forward to 2016. I'm sure my good friends Chris Leone and Kristen Kenny with Red Bull GRC will get them cycled into the show this offseason to talk about some of the stuff coming up in 2016. But got to say, all in all, tip of the cap to you guys at Red Bull GRC. Phenomenal year, and once again, Scott Speed, awesome effort, my friend. Stoked to see you get that championship. We're going to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And when we come back, we're going to be talking score, Baja 1000 qualifying, Stadium Super Trucks, SEMA, and Endurocross. All that and more coming up on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris Razor XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XD Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XD Series wheels at KMCWheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels, like no other. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
American rock and roll legend Chubby Checker, the one and only, live at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Chubby Checker, live in the Blue Water Showroom, Saturday, November 21st. Don't miss Chubby Checker.
It's party time! Get up!
Tickets on sale now. $45 general admission, VIP $55. Online at BlueWaterFun.com or at the gift shop. Chubby Checker, live November 21st at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Rigid Industries is the original and #1 LED light bar manufacturer in the world. Torture tested by some of the best drivers in motorsports. Rigid LED lighting products use cutting-edge technology and can stand up to the harshest conditions Mother Nature can dish out. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States, Rigid LED lighting is the only choice for your off-road vehicle or boat. Find out more information on the entire line of Rigid Industries LED lighting products at www.rigidindustries.com.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And, man, great interview with Scott Speed. I mean, I've been very fortunate enough to have Scott on air a few times now, and that was definitely probably one of the most fun. And thanks to you fans, you not only you listeners, but you Red Bull GRC fans that tuned in for that and got active on Twitter and Instagram, gave us some phenomenal questions for Scott, some out-of-the-box stuff. You know, me as a radio host and an interviewer, I mean, I've interviewed, you guys know, I mean, everybody top to bottom, Supercross riders, Rallycross, Formula D, Chip Ganassi for that matter. Some of the, biggest names in motorsports. And, but sometimes, I mean, I don't want to say you get in a rut, but, you ask similar questions. I mean, I try and think out of the box, but sometimes the best case is, hey, let's get the fans involved and, and get answers for the questions you want asked. And you guys definitely stepped up huge. And, that's why I like doing radio, and I love this show. We like to interact with the fans. I always say we are fan-driven, and you guys definitely steered that interview. And thanks to Scott, thanks to you guys, and thanks to Red Bull GRC, thanks to Andretti, everybody that helped make that happen. Great interview with Scott Speed, your 2015 Red Bull Global Rallycross champ. And, Red Bull GRC wrapping up there in Vegas, and and also a lot of other events happening in Vegas. SEMA Stadium Super Trucks, Score Baja 1000 qualifying. Man, where do we start? Obviously, year number 2, Score putting on their huge event there at SEMA, booking out a section of the front lot. It's always been kind of cool there last year and this year to go in and see trophy trucks front and center at SEMA, and then having qualifying at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As a trophy truck racer myself, or trick truck racer, I don't race Score, I race Best in the Desert. Not that I have anything against Score. It's just my sponsors want me in Best in the Desert, and, such is life. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about Score, but Score qualifying, I mean, it's just weird to have qualifying for an event, kind of off-site of the actual event. I mean, Vegas to Reno, we're probably 100 miles away from where we qualify and where the event starts, but there's some festivities around there and stuff like that. But you look at the Baja 1000 and having qualifying for the biggest off-road event of the year in Las Vegas at the Motor Speedway. And then you've got the actual race running in Baja, country away, 500 miles. It's kind of weird. I understand why Score does it, for the hype and the media and SEMA, and get, the non. I got to say, I don't know. I don't know how much longer this is going to go. I mean, one, I don't like the fact, at least in Best in the Desert qualifying, guys will put hot rod gear, rear end gears in their truck. And, and things like that. But, for the most part, we're running what we race in the desert. You've got all these trophy trucks showing up with 35-inch tires, rod gearing. Don't have special qualifying only engines, because we just don't know. So the trucks aren't exactly what you race in the Baja 1000. And then you turn around and, they're qualifying on something not similar to what we race in the Baja 1000. And then we have the problems with the qualifying timing they had, and I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. You chalk this one up. Those of you that don't follow along, cutting to the chase, there was a big debacle. That's the easiest way to put it. With Score qualifying for the Baja 1000, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, eyes of the industry on these guys, going to throw it down, qualify, best trophy truck drivers in the world. And the timing system, I guess, I don't know, didn't work. It's the easiest way to put it. Just didn't work. I think one or two trucks maybe qualified, and then the system went kaput. So they ended up scoring qualifying for the Baja 1000. I guess some of the teams, which is normal, we time everybody to get a rough estimate of how we did, right? So everybody's stopwatch time, not precise, and you see somebody take off the line, you hit the button, and when they come back around, I'm going to get you within a couple seconds, right? It gives you a rough idea. It's not official, but, stopwatch time is what it is. So 3 teams were doing that. They had the timing system shut down. So they decided, we'll just take the stopwatch times and make that the qualifying for the Baja 1000. And so they took 3 of the teams that were timing with stopwatches and averaged those 3 stopwatch times and made that time, whatever the average was, the official results for the Baja 1000 qualifying. I don't know. I've heard, the sad part is it takes it out of Score's hand, and you're relying on the integrity of teams. I know, some of the teams, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I mean, you're with a stopwatch. Things aren't exact. Maybe maybe you sneezed and missed pushing the button by a second. Could happen, right? Maybe you blinked or got a bug in your eye or something. It took you a second or two to open your eye and say, oh, that guy's off. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, it takes the computer element out. I mean, we're talking, I don't know. I compared it to what happened would be like putting Tony Stewart in the stands with a stopwatch at the Daytona 500 and having him time Daytona 500 qualifying. I mean, it doesn't work. I don't know. Ricky Johnson ended up on the pole. Ricky absolutely in a four-wheel drive truck. I've said it before. This truck's going to be a game changer, and he's driving with Matney. He qualified. Ricky, a great Pro 4 driver, running this. I mean, no doubt he probably was on the pole regardless. But the rest of everybody else, I think I don't want to say it's a toss-up. I think these are roughly right, but I'm sure there's some guys 2, 3, maybe even 4 positions off. It's not exact the way you would want your elite, one of the biggest races in the world to be timed for qualifying. It's just, I don't know. It's tough. So Ricky Johnson with the win, Gus Vidosela Jr. second, not with a win, but the pole, Tabo second, Bryce third, Rob Mack in fourth, Robbie Gordon fifth, Carlos Lopez 6th, Luke McMillan 7th, Jesse Jones 8th, Eduardo Laguna 9th, Cameron Steele in 10th. Then you got Kemp, Burt Jenner, Gary Wyrick, Kyle Jurgensen, Cody Parkhouse, Armin Schwartz, and Steven Eugenio. They're in 16th. Dan McMillan, Ryan Arciero, Zach Langley, Todd Peterson, Jesse Hooker, and Larry Rossler, 1 through 22. A lot of entries, including B.J. Baldwin not qualifying, and so they will be put in a random draw and start, subsequently, right behind Larry Rossler. Rossler, the reason why he was down there in 22nd, DNF, had some mechanical issues. So I don't know. Those are your results. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's a 1,000-mile race, and who's going to win is going to win. I really don't think qualifying in the Baja 1000 quite matters as much, especially, you're only a couple positions off. It's just the way it went down. I guess to me, I would have scrapped the whole idea, and I would have rather done a random draw, or I would have restarted everybody or waited, delayed things a day. Done whatever I had to do to get things right. Even if the media is not there, you want the timing and scoring to be right. If you had to do it the next morning and all the media had obligations with SEMA or with Global Rallycross, it doesn't matter. You make it, you have the timing right. That's the way I would have done things. Even if it cost me money out of pocket, I would have done things that way. It just, I don't know. I know I'm not alone. You go to the off-road message boards, and man, those things are lit up like Christmas trees on this whole thing. It's just a weird situation. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and things will move on. And we do have the biggest, baddest off-road race of the year coming up in about a week and a half. So guys down there qualifying, pre-running right now for race day late next week. So we'll just have to see how things shake out. But not only that, we had Stadium Super Trucks going down there at SEMA as well. And Stadium Super Trucks, this is a series. I gotta give Robbie credit. A lot of you guys threw him under the bus originally. This isn't gonna work, and Robbie has proved 22 rounds this year. Some of the biggest events of the year. I mean, tied in with IndyCar. He's been to Australia, Vegas, X Games. I give Robbie all the credit in the world. This isn't exactly what Stadium Super Trucks set out to be originally, but he's found its niche, and it works for him, and they've got some solid fields, and and it's proving to be a talent pool of younger guys. I mean, 2 races in Vegas, round 1, Robbie taking the win, Burt Jenner, Scotty Steele, Anthony Grandin, and Greg Adler with your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then moving on to the finale, 22 of 22, round 22 of 22. Sheldon Creed, the prodigy, taking the win. Robbie Gordon second, Scotty Steele third, Grandin in fourth, and Matt Mingay in fifth. But you look at this as a whole, and he's definitely bringing up some talent. I mean, you look at the points championship, Sheldon Creed dethroning Robbie Gordon. Sheldon is the champion. That's huge for a young kid. I mean, to go and beat Robbie Gordon at his own game, That's big. So one, congrats to Sheldon Creed, and two, props to Robbie for making this series work, finding, and not fighting it. He's just kind of let it organically kind of morph into what it is today. And, and I can tell you with this radio show, is it exactly how I started it out 4 years ago? No, not at all. We've kind of morphed into something else, but at the end of the day, it works. And same thing with Stadium Super Trucks or Formula Off-Road, whatever you want to call it. But props to Robbie for that. But Sheldon is your champion this year. Robbie Gordon second, Keegan Kincaid third, Burt Jenner and Scotty Steele rounding out your top five. And this definitely, giving a lot of drivers a chance to shine. I mean, Sheldon Creed, he's thrived in this series. Keegan Kincaid, he's phenomenal in torque. He's done well here. Scotty Steele, young gun. I mean, he's coming up through the ranks and figured it out. And, this is giving him a chance to shine as well. I mean, definitely got to give a big shout out to Robbie for, I look at this and go, here's a guy who is breeding the future of this sport. And I definitely love that. I think everybody, every sport needs that. I mean, you've got trophy carts bringing them into short course, but this gives drivers an outlet to just, arrive and drive in a truck rather than run their own pro light program. And I think, we're seeing the fruit of that labor, by Robbie Gordon. It's definitely been phenomenal to watch his series and its growth, and he's doing a solid job with it, and it's on TV, and they do some live streaming and get some big name drivers in it. So props to Robbie. Also talking SEMA, SEMA show every year. I've got a love-hate relationship with SEMA. I love what comes out of the show. Sometimes you can get claustrophobic in those halls, though. I mean, you get down into the bowels of some of these buildings, and you can't see daylight, and you're surrounded by hundreds of people, and I don't know, it gets to the point where you just almost get claustrophobic back there, and it's like, whew, I need some space, But SEMA, it's become such a huge event. I was talking to my dad, who used to go to SEMA 20-some years ago, and it's so different now. But, seeing, I like to call it the action motorsports takeover. I mean, it used to be the hot rod guys and stuff like that. And now, the off-road community, the rallycross community, Formula D community. Now the UTV movement has invaded SEMA. Razors everywhere. Mine was also on display, I might add. But it's pretty remarkable how how we've kind of embedded ourselves into SEMA as a culture, an action motorsports culture, and I don't want to say taken over, but found a home there. It's definitely pretty cool, and with the out front and bringing in Jared to do all the announcing there, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool how SEMA has changed, and not only that, but embraced our movement. It's pretty awesome. But razors everywhere. I think UTV industry has officially invaded the aftermarket manufacturers. I know talking with tire manufacturers, wheel manufacturers, exhaust manufacturers, lighting manufacturers. Everybody is talking UTV. It's pretty crazy. I mean, that market, we thought it exploded to this point. It was all a lot of endemic companies supporting it. Now we've got the non-endemic supporting UTV movement, and talking mainstream auto manufacturer, or aftermarket auto accessory companies going, hey, we need to be in this. And I think in the next 12 to 24 months, you're going to see the UTV market explode even further. It's just off the hook. It's crazy. The other big note coming out of SEMA for you off-road fans, Honda with Jeff Proctor. A lot of you know him from Metro Honda, races a trophy light in Best in the Desert. A factory-backed program put together a Honda Ridgeline, the new Honda Ridgeline. Proctor will be racing it. It's got a turbo Honda engine developed by Honda, I call it Honda Racing, HPD, Honda Performance Division. Factory-backed truck and absolutely beautiful. I think the engine and electronics absolutely cutting edge. Hasn't got enough. Definitely hasn't got enough talk about that. I think everybody looks at the truck as a whole and goes, "Oh, it's got a pretty body, but it's a traditional trophy truck." Well, I think the truck itself is traditional, but I think the powertrain behind it is not. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out next year in Best in the Desert. We'll be running the Baja 1000 in a couple of weeks, so definitely looking forward to seeing how that team does. But manufacturers back in off-road desert racing, Honda, Jeff Proctor, beautiful truck, and we'll see how it does. And reached out to them. I know at some point, can't tell you if it's going to be before or after Baja, but Jeff will be on the show to talk about this new Honda program. And this new, I don't want to call it a trophy truck because it's not running in trophy truck and score. It's running in class 2, which is it's a different, it's kind of a unlimited class with different restrictions on engine type of thing. And we don't know where it's running in Best of the Desert quite yet. A lot of info over at racedesert.com, but you can definitely check that out there. But Honda, huge for off-road for them to be back involved as a manufacturer in desert racing for sure. And then we've got the curious case of Endurocross. Endurocross happening as well, going down in Boise. And this is a series, we talk about here and there. Haven't really covered it a lot, but they've got a heck of a championship going on with both the men and the women. And got a shootout for the title there in Boise. It was 2 rounds left. Now we got 1 round left in SoCal here in a couple of weeks, the end of November. But Boise, Idaho, Colton Haker taking another win on a Husqvarna. Cody Webb in second. Taylor Robert in third. Taylor we had on air right around X Games. We got to get him back on air to talk about this championship. Corey Graffunder and Kyle Redman 1 through 5. Max Gersten, Mike Brown, Ty Tremaine, Tristan Hart, Wyatt Hart through 10. Our buddy Destry Abbott down there in 12th, and I think this is his last year competitively racing, kind of turning things over to his son, and but he's definitely going to be an asset to the community. Continuing his DAA 8 training facility down there in Phoenix, and a lot of guys like Taylor Robert training there, and it's just a phenomenal training facility, both on a fitness side and a motorcycle side. Definitely be involved in the sport, but gotta love him still making the main events. This far into his career. But congrats goes out to Colton Haker, Cody Webb, and Taylor Robert on the podiums. Shootout going into Ontario here in a couple of weeks in SoCal, and then the women's. They're having a great battle as well. Rachel Gudish taking the win. Sandra Gomez had the whole shot, led early, but Gomez finished in second. Last year's champ, Lexi Pachute, she finished up in third. So heading into the final in Ontario, 1 point separating Sandra Gomez from Rachel Gudish. Basically sets up a winner-take-all scenario. Whoever finishes in front of the other in Ontario is going to take the championship. You got to love a storyline like that. So, Endurocross, man, it's shaping up to be a heck of a battle there as well. I mean, it's just, wow. So we do have some racing still going on. It's like winding things down, but we still got, Best in the Desert going on, Endurocross going on, World Rallycross going on, Baja 1000 and Score still going on. So we still got some championships to be decided. It's not all over yet, but definitely shaping up to be some fun. Some fun racing in Endurocross, the finale there in SoCal. So you SoCal listeners, I would definitely be there. I think it's later on this month in November, Ontario, California, wrapping things up. But sure, they'll roll out an amazing course there. Endurocross, I just like seeing the course builds, man. They on their social media, they pull out all these course builds. This one, they had literally pumpkins. They had literally, it was like a pumpkin patch you had to race through, and all these pumpkins getting destroyed. I thought it was pretty cool, but always do something different in Endurocross at every venue. And, I look forward to just seeing the course builds, to be honest with you. I'd be horrible at Endurocross, but I'd love to race it or ride one of the courses. I'd probably fall over, twist my ankle, break my leg, do something, but it'd be fun to ride the courses. And note that I say ride, not race, because me on 2 wheels in a race, that ain't happening anytime soon. I love riding. I'd be horrible on any type of racing on 2 wheels. That's a fact. We're gonna take a short commercial break. We come back. We got Jenn Hellstrom. She's gonna be calling in, talking Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. And I don't know, she snuck around SEMA. We may talk to her about SEMA as well. But all that and more coming up in hour number 2. We also got Ami Houde. She's going to be calling in. And we have with Ami Houde an amazing interview coming up with Matt Bisceglia, who is going to be talking about his 2016 plans. So all that and more on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XD Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XD Series wheels at KMCWheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels, like no other. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for. No fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island. The best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, kicking off hour number 2. Hour number one, lots of fun. Red Bull GRC champ Scott Speed calling into the show. And, man, always fun catching up with Scott Speed, talking a little SEMA, Endurocross, Stadium Super Truck, Score qualifying, switching gears now, and going to talk some more Vegas. My good friend Jenn Hellstrom on the line. We're going to talk some Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame that was going down in Vegas. How's everything going, Jenn?
Everything's going good, Jim. Thank you.
So, give us a lowdown. I mean, gosh, Vegas, you're a Vegas local, and SEMA week, it seems like, I don't know, all hell breaks loose in Vegas. I mean, we had, Score qualifying, Stadium Super Truck, SEMA, Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame induction. I mean, I don't know if you can pack much more into a week, but everybody in Vegas seems to try.
You know what? I heard that there's going to be even more packed into next year, so I hope everybody is prepared for an even crazier week from SEMA 2016.
I don't know where they're going to fit everything. I don't know where they're going to fit it. I mean, it's to the point where, I mean, it's almost like you need to stretch SEMA into the weekend. I mean, it's all crammed into a Monday through a Friday. It's like, what do we got to start adding in the Saturdays and Sundays now?
We might have to. That's what it's looking like from what I'm hearing, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just nutty. Vegas as a whole, man, you guys haven't had much time to breathe. I know you guys had, you had the finale there for Monster Energy Cup. I mean, you guys had Red Bull Air Race. I mean, it's been a heck of a run for you guys over the past couple of weeks.
It's been pretty back-to-back for even just myself for the past 2 months with a lot of stuff going on here in Vegas, Vegas brings a lot of stuff in, and there's always stuff to compete with. So there's not just one main thing going on in the weekend. There's 3 different things that you have to choose to go to. So, but it was nice. We kicked off SEMA week with the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and I think it was a good way to bring everybody into Vegas, and it kind of felt like not only an induction ceremony, but a good kickoff party. And a reunion at that too.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because looking at the class, and I'll let you run through the class, but looking at one guy in particular, Kurt LeDuc, who, to be honest with you, to me, I saw him pop up on as he was getting inducted. This is a couple months back. The press release. Kurt LeDuc getting inducted in the Off-Road Hall of Fame, and I looked at him and go, well, he deserves to be there, but I can't believe he's not in there yet. Like, to me, it was weird because I just assumed he was in there.
Well, how it works, too, and a lot of people don't know, is the person has to be nominated. You have to fill out an entire nomination packet and send it in to the board to go over. And that packet can be active for 3 years. So, say far, far along down the road, somebody decides to nominate me. That packet could sit there for 3 years before they go, okay, you know what, let's nominate Jenn. So a lot of people don't know that the system actually works like that. So we're trying to get more awareness out there for people to hop on the ormhoff.org, download that packet, and nominate somebody that you think is deserving to be in the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame.
So if there's somebody in the back of my mind, which I've got a few of them that aren't in there yet, so I'd go and I download the packet, and fill out all the paperwork, check my, dot my I's, cross my T's, submit it to you guys, and say they don't get in year number 1. That doesn't mean they're out. It just sits with you guys for a few years, so I don't have to go ahead and redo it the following year, right?
Yes, exactly. After 3 years, though, then you would have to redo it.
Okay, well, I guess chances are if they're not in 3 years, they're probably not going to get in at all. So, I don't know. So, give us a lowdown though. Obviously, talking about Kurt LeDuc, I mean, he's a legend. He was in there. How about some of the other inductees?
Well, we had a great class of 2015. We had Jerry Penhall, Shannon Campbell, Chris Collard, and Mr. Gahn, who is the owner of the South Point. And a lot of people don't know that Mr. Gahn has helped a lot of people in the off-road industry, and not only has he raced himself, but he helps people like R.J. Anderson, Pat Dean, TJ Flores. There's a whole list of people in Vegas that he's helped get them to where they're at today. So he was a great inductee, and not only is he the owner of the South Point and helped host the evening, but it was great to see him up there on stage, too, and be able to give thanks to all the people who have supported him as well.
Yeah, and that's what that's what I've always liked about the Off-Road Hall of Fame. I mean, it's not just the big name drivers, the Rob McCachrans of the world who have won victories. I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, let's face it. I mean, Michael Gahn is, when he's raced cars, he's always been quick, but his resume doesn't exactly scream Off-Road Hall of Fame. But the Off-Road Hall of Fame also looks at, at your career as a whole and the things he's done behind the scenes. And I don't think a lot of people understand. I mean, this is a guy who definitely has helped push this industry to where we're at today. And that's what I've always admired about the Off-Road Hall of Fame. I mean, it's not just, drivers that get in. It's people, it's people within the industry who've helped grow the sport.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have, somebody like Chris Collard, who is a photographer and a journalist, and some people may not know his name, but he's been doing this for clearly over 15 years, and he's traveled to over 40 countries covering racing. And to me, the guy is a legend because it's kind of what I do in a sense, and I really look up to him. So to see somebody like that get inducted as well and be able to look at his work and look at what he's done for the sport and the articles that he's written is huge.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, it's the easiest way to put it. It's just been huge. I mean, I was looking at a list of some of the events he's gone to at one point a while back, and it's just like, wow, some of the events I'd never even heard of, and here he is going and covering them,
Yep. So, but it was a great night. We doubled the amount of people that they normally get. So we had sold out 400 people in that banquet room. And when I say it was like a reunion, it was. We had past inductees there. We had people from KJ House to Parnelli Jones, Walker Evans, like the list goes on and on and on about, But now here's the thing that we're trying to do too. Yeah, we get all of these awesome past inductees. Now we need to get the younger generation into that room too, and make it a mix of everybody. We're not just there to honor the class of 2015 inductees. We're also there to honor the Rising Star Awards that Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame has started. And what that does is it's letting those know that are really making a name for themselves already, like the Bryce Menzies and the Waylon Campbell, that Ormhoff is looking at you and you are on track to become an inductee. So when people hear the Rising Star Award and then they see the name next to it, they're kind of like, oh, but that person's kind of already succeeded in what they're doing. Bryce has tons of wins, championships and everything, but he's a rising star in the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. If he continues what he's doing, he's on track to become an inductee.
Gotcha.
So that's how our generation needs to look at it, and we really want to get them involved and get them to these events.
Yeah. So, and how does that, I know there was voting on the Rising Star Award. How does that work? I mean, how does one become nominated for that? Is it the group there at the Off-Road Hall of Fame, the board of directors that decides on these people?
The board actually put together a nominee committee that picked people, and then they went and they narrowed it down. And it came down to voting for a few reasons, for online voting. The cost to vote, but the money that you paid to vote went right back to the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame, and you became a member. And then it made it so it was kind of an even playing field. There were some people in there who had more of a social media following than others, and we wanted to really just make sure that it was as fair around as possible. We didn't want somebody that has 2 million followers to just get a bunch of votes and then they take it, whereas you still have somebody who's really good and who may not have that following. So it was an even playing field, but we had, Bryce Menzies won his category of off-road racing. Waylon Campbell won rocks crawling, and that family right there, Shannon Campbell and his family, is definitely, they're deserving to be up there on stage. They've done a lot.
Yeah. Well, and Shannon, and we've had him on air in the past, but he's one of those guys, like, you go up to him at an event, and I've never seen Shannon without a smile on his face. I mean, he loves talking off-road. He's a great ambassador for the sport, whether it be desert or rocks. I mean, he just lives, eats, sleeps, breathes the sport of off-road, and he's a guy that just loves to share that with people, and it doesn't matter who you are.
Yep.
So, just it sounds like a tremendous list, and, great to see both the Campbells. Moving forward, I mean, obviously great event there in Vegas. Looking at 2016, I guess, what are the deadlines? I mean, I know that, packets are available now to download, start generating, those people going to work if you've got somebody you want to see, inducted. But, what are some of the deadlines? When are the packets due back by, Jen?
I believe that the deadline for 2016 is going to be around April or May. So you want to get started on those right away because there is a lot of research that you have to do on the person. You need to, not only are you trying to find out wins and list the amount of wins that they've had if they do, but just stuff that they have done to touch people in the industry and to make not only a household name for themselves, but for somebody to go, you know what, that person is a great person. And if you're going to nominate somebody who has been in the industry for a long time, that's a lot of research to do. So I recommend getting started as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's. I've looked at the packets. It's been a while since I have, but you're right. It's definitely a lot of research. I mean, it's not easy. It's not like you just throw somebody's name in the hat, they get inducted. I mean, you've got to do your homework, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty much like doing a final paper in college.
Yeah, exactly. So that being said, I know that went on. I know you were able to sneak around SEMA a little bit, just in and out. Anything catch your eye there at SEMA?
To be honest, the one thing that did catch my eye was the new Nissan Titan Cummins diesel. I know it's not too off-road related, but having a Titan myself, and I saw that they're putting the Cummins in the Titans now, makes me really want one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I think it's definitely huge for Nissan to come to market with a diesel. It's, to me, walking around, you're somebody that's been in the off-road industry for a long time. I mean, to me, walking around, I was pretty impressed with just the presence off-road had. It seemed like, it used to be, you go to SEMA and it was a lot of hot rods and I don't know. I mean, now, everywhere you turn, there was a lifted truck or, and I'm not saying desert racing type stuff, but just off-road four-wheel drive stuff in general. I mean, it seemed like everywhere you turn, there was a Jeep or UTVs now or a lifted truck. And, it seems like off-road's almost saturated, the SEMA, the SEMA show.
I completely agree with you. It's kind of everywhere inside SEMA. It doesn't matter what section you go to. I mean, well, for example, your Razor, over in the audio section, they had a Razor.
Yeah.
On display. That wasn't something that you really saw over there.
Yeah.
And then even just walking out front, you would be walking along the line of, a bunch of hot rods, and then all of a sudden there's a Pro 2 sitting there in the mix. So it's definitely taken over, and I know that actually for the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame, we're going to look into getting even more involved with SEMA next year. So you might even see more off-road stuff.
Nice. Well, I think, it's SEMA week and definitely a logical tie-in there. It seemed like everybody I talked to sounded like the banquet. You guys did a phenomenal job, and I'm looking forward. I always look forward to seeing who, the inductees are, each and every year. So I guess it's time for everybody to get to work, and we'll see who pops up for 2016.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see who gets nominated for next year for the class of 2016, and hopefully we can do a even bigger and better banquet too.
Yeah. Well, I got somebody. You're going to get a packet from me. I got a side project I'm working on for somebody I think that needs to be in there. So we'll see if I can get this done. But I've got, like you said, a lot of homework to do for sure.
Yep, you better start now.
I know. We'll do. Well, thanks a lot, Jen, and definitely talk soon. And have a great week.
Thank you. You too, Jim.
All right. That was Jenn Hellstrom. Lady of many hats with the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. She also does some stuff for Lucas Oil and Photographs Short Course. Also does some stuff for me. She bounces around all over the industry and also does some work with Red Bull Las Vegas, Red Bull Air Race. Literally every day I think she's wearing a different hat, but definitely one of those people in the industry that keeps things going, and great to talk with her. And it's something I honestly just failed to talk about, the Off-Road Hall of Fame. Completely spaced it, forgot, and there you go, but here we are recapping things that went down last Monday about a week ago. So congrats to all the inductees in 2016. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Ami Houde's going to be calling in, and we're going to have Matt Bisceglia on the line as well, talking Supercross, motocross, and, his future in 2016. All that and more on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XT Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XT Series wheels at kmcwheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Rigid Industries is the original and #1 LED light bar manufacturer in the world. Torture tested by some of the best drivers in motorsports. Rigid LED lighting products use cutting-edge technology and can stand up to the harshest conditions Mother Nature can dish out. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States, Rigid LED lighting is the only choice for your off-road vehicle or boat. Find out more information on the entire line of Rigid Industries LED lighting products at www.rigidindustries.com.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And rocking and rolling, we're about 3/4 of the way done, but that doesn't mean anything. We're ramping things up big for the last 30 minutes of the show coming up. We've got Ami Houde. She's going to be calling in to do her segment, and joining her, it's going to be Matt Bisceglia, Supercross, motocross extraordinaire, announcing his 2016 plans. They've already been announced, but definitely going to be awesome having him on air to discuss those plans and talk about what's in store for him in the 2016 Supercross and motocross season. But, yeah, fun show so far. Scott Speed, I just go back to that interview, and you fans, some great questions, and just talking with the champ. And, I've had Scott on a few times at this point, but definitely one of my favorite interviews I've done for him, with him, obviously, today. But right now, looks like my sidekick, my partner in crime, Ami Houde, is joining us, so that means a little of this.
Now, where the hood at? You better bust that if you don't pull that. Where the hood at?
What's happening, Ami?
Hi, how's it going, guys?
Just another Monday here in the studio, and I don't know, episode 200 and something, but fun show so far. Red Bull GRC champ Scott Speed calling in earlier. Now we got you, we got Matt. I got to ask you, it's Bisceglia, right? How do you say his last name? I've heard it a ton of different ways.
Bisceglia, yeah.
Bisceglia?
Yeah.
Bisceglia. All right, there we go. So.
No, Bisceglia, like the seashell. I've had to ask him 1 times about it, so.
Bisceglia.
It's almost like the same problems that I have at the podium. No one knows how. Something weird if I'm traveling around racing in different places and people don't really know who you are. They screw it up royally. It's pretty bad. It's, here's Ami Houde on the podium, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, gosh.
Yeah. Well, that's like literally when I didn't this year, but the past couple of years I've done some announcing for Red Bull GRC, and we get a lot of the European drivers come in, and I have no idea how to pronounce her name.
Hey, Jim, you're cutting out pretty good here. I can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me. I can hear you like great. So I don't know. I don't know if you want to try and buzz back in. Maybe the connection's off or something. You there? Ami.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, we good?
Cutting it out, unfortunately.
I don't know. It's got to be on your end. We want to try and buzz back in and see if the connection gets better. I don't know. You got to love phones when you're live on the air, right? All right, Ami Houde going to call back in. I guess having some problems with the phones. I don't know. You listeners, let me know. Everybody else has said it's been rock solid. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird, but yeah, Matt Bisceglia going to be calling in here in just a minute with with Ami Houde, and here's Ami back. How's everything going, Ami? That any better?
Hey, I think so right now. I have full bars, so I'm not too sure what's up.
Yeah, I don't know either. We've had all the guests so far. We haven't had a problem, so I don't know. We'll see.
That's probably me then.
What's that?
Here we go. I got one more bar, but anyway, yeah. So. Yeah, no, I'm really excited to bring Matt on. He has a lot of really awesome stuff going on for 2016 Supercross Series. He's with a brand new team, brand new bikes. I think he's going to have a lot of success this year. So really interested in talking with him and seeing, how everything's going.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty exciting for him. I mean, sometimes, it's a little nerve-wracking changing teams and changing everything you've known, but at the same time, it's exciting, for the future.
Yeah. Definitely, and just from talking with him, and we hung out in California and in Vegas there, and he sounds so positive about it, and I think he's really in a great mental state. He seems, to love his team manager, love the new bikes, and it's really nice to see that kind of positivity. I know it's such a tough industry, and there's so much, ifs, ands, or buts, and a lot of inconsistency, but he seems to really, really like who he's working with, and that's sometimes the hardest part, man. You can have the best bikes, but if you're not confident with your team and who you're working with and what's going on, and if you don't have that confidence, it's you're just missing a huge piece of the puzzle. And I think, the cool thing about Matt is he has that figured out. He really, trusts himself, trusts his program, and I think he's going to have such a successful 2016 year. I really do.
Yeah, and generally when a rider, goes into a year, and I know it's the same thing with four wheels, it is with two, but you're excited about the program, you're excited about the team. It seems like, you just ride at a different level, and here's hoping,
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you have that trust level where you kind of, you trust not only yourself but your team, and you trust your bikes and you trust your mechanic, and that's a really hard, like I said, a hard piece to kind of figure out a lot of the times, and that's what a lot of riders lack, is that, that confidence. So, no, I think he's really pumped, so I want to hear from his point of view, how he's feeling. So, Matt, call in. I just texted you.
He's calling in right now as we speak. I'd like to welcome Matt Bisceglia to the line, along with Ami Houde, Jim Beaver. How's everything going, Matt?
Pretty good, man. I'm just out here at the test track, putting in some laps, breaking in our new track today. It's a good time.
Awesome. So, give us a lowdown. I mean, I know, I've kind of heard this is in the process, but I know it's out there in the wild. New team, new bike. I mean, you got to be pretty amped.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked, man. It was, I was a little bit on edge for a while, just not having a contract signed, not having a bike for a little while, but yeah, I got with this Mad Racing Suzuki team powered by Dirt Candy and Yoshimura, and yeah, man, the bikes are really good so far. I've been having a good time the last couple of weeks on the bike, and I'm like very surprised how good it works. And yeah, I'm pumped. I'm planning on doing 250 West, and then I'm going to do 3 rounds on the East Coast on a 450, and it's going pretty well. I have a couple big test days this week, and yeah, I'm excited to see where this bike can go. It's going to be good.
Yeah,
well, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, jumping on this bike, I mean, new team, new program, it's a new manufacturer for you. I mean, is there a lot of development work you guys need to do on these bikes? Or, I mean, obviously you've had some time on it at this point. I mean, is it pretty quick out of the box?
Yeah, no, it's pretty quick and snappy already. And, Yoshimura's doing our engines. So, they have a lot more stuff up their sleeves that, I'm going to get in the next month or so. And, if the bike's already as good as it is, I'm excited to see, what else they can do to it. And, yeah, it's going to be a good package deal. I'm really pumped on it.
Yeah. So, looking forward, I mean, running the West, jumping onto a 450, for some of the East rounds. I mean, Amy and I were just talking before you got on, and, I know how it is as a race car driver myself, and obviously she races, but I know going into a new season, sometimes, sometimes it's just a little iffy, but going into a new season when you're happy and the people around you love, I mean, and you're happy with the bike you're going to be riding. I mean, I was telling her, I said, sometimes it seems like you ride at another level. I mean, and it seems like, you're at that point, there's a ton of highs, so you got to be really excited, to kick off 2016.
Yeah, no, I am. And it's a really good group of people I'm around too. My mechanic is actually one of my best friends from Texas that, kind of, knew the spot on a team for this year. So I contacted him, the team owner, team manager, everybody's awesome. So it's a good group of people, and sometimes change can be good. So, I'm really confident kind of, coming off the last nationals of this last year. And, yeah, I'm confident coming into this year. And like I said, sometimes change can be good. So I'm really excited for this year. I'm confident that we're going to get some really good finishes, and we're going to be up there all year long. It's an exciting change, and, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Would you consider yourself more of a Supercross rider or outdoor rider? You did finish on a podium at the East-West Shootout, but you also had 3 top 5 finishes in outdoors. And, I think you're a really, really strong outdoor rider. You got that conditioning. You're pretty much a powerhouse. But, are you a little bit more excited for the Supercross series? What would you classify yourself as?
No, people ask me that all the time, and I don't really prefer one over the other. I try to be as solid as I can, like all year round. Supercross, motocross, I try to just, regardless of what time of year it is, I put in as much work as I can to kind of get myself tuned up for whatever I'm racing. But I definitely do like Supercross a lot. It's fun after kind of beating yourself up over a whole summer of outdoors. It's fun to get on the Supercross track. So. I'd have to say on a day-to-day basis, it's probably more fun to go ride Supercross. And, yeah, you know, the best finishes of my pro career so far have been in Supercross. So, yeah, I don't know. I might be a little bit more of a Supercross rider. I have good whoop speed, and I have pretty good rhythm timing. So,
are you good at starts now?
I favor one over the other.
Supercross is, you know, all about the start. Would you say you're, you know, have half decent starts, or you can?
Oh yeah, I pulled a lot of good starts this year. I was pretty consistent on them. I was always kind of up in the top 5, pulled some hole shots. So starts are very important as you go in Supercross. So that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, here's a question for you. It seems like Supercross, motocross. I mean, the sports have almost kind of morphed. I mean, we've seen the track changes and stuff like that, but now we've got these one-off events. I mean, Monster Energy Cup. You've got Red Bull Straight Rhythm. I mean, do you enjoy going to these? These I just call them crazy events. I mean, because it seems like, you know, I'm already looking at the track build for Monster Energy Cup for next year going, man, it's like they think so far outside of the box sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's nutty. I mean, do you like going to events like that in straight rhythm?
No, I do for sure, man. I was actually, I was lucky enough to be able to do straight rhythm this year. Geico supported me through straight rhythm, and then, you know, I really wanted to do Monster Cup, and then I wanted to go to Paris and do the Leo Supercross. But unfortunately, just kind of getting on a bike late, I wasn't able to get a setup dialed in time to go over there. But yeah, no, you know, I do like doing those off-season races. I did a couple after the after the Nationals were over. There were a couple big pro purse races back home in Texas that I hit, and no, yeah, like you said, looking at that start at Monster Cup next year, that's going to be pretty nutty. They're like starting from the top of the stadium. That's like kind of going to be crazy.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I'm looking at that, and I mean, I can't remember who reposted it. And I started looking at that, and I'm like, gosh, I mean, you know, if starts aren't nutty enough in Supercross or in Monster Energy Cup, I mean, let's ramp it up a level. You know, you really got to balls up for that thing, right?
No, I know, man. Let's just do something extremely crazy, you know? Like, I don't know. I did an elevated start this year, and that was, you know, the start was probably only like 7-8 feet tall, but by the time you get to the first quarter, you're carrying like 5 or 10 more miles an hour. It's pretty crazy. So I can't even imagine what it's going to be like next year at Monster Cup.
Yeah. Well, that being said, I mean, you know, going back to 2016, you know, Supercross. I mean, heading in, I mean, you know, West and East both just some amazing talent. I mean, what are the goals this year? I mean, new team, you know, obviously new bike for you. What you know, what are the goals here for 2016 West Series?
Man, honestly, my goal when I go out and race every time is to go win. But my goal for this year is to get my first Supercross win, and then. You know, it'd be amazing, not just for myself, but the whole Mad Racing team. It'd be amazing to, you know, get a win for them in their first year. And, you know, just get a first win for Suzuki in the 250 class, you know, in about 3 years. That's my goal this year, is to go out and get some wins for sure, as it always is. But, you know, I know where I belong this year, and finishing off last year, I know where I belong, and I know I'm capable of it. I just have to, you know, go put it all together and, you know, do it on race day.
Yeah. Well,
yep.
Well, I'm looking at the transition. I know you said you're going to do some stuff on the 450s. I mean, how's that for you? You know, as a rider, swapping back and forth between the bikes.
You know, I've always swapped back and forth really well, but I'll tell you, I'm really excited to ride that 450. I've always been a really good 450 rider. You know, probably even better than 250. You know, I'm a bigger kid. I weigh, you know, just over 170 pounds. So on a 250, that's, you know, I'm one of the bigger guys on the track. So, you know, I guess just my strength. I suit the 450 really well. I have a smooth style. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go east. I'm going to do St. Louis. I'm going to do Indy. And then I'm going to do the new round at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. So
nice.
I'm extremely blessed to be able to do that. And it's going to be good. Those are probably the 3 most exciting. What was that, Amy?
I make Toronto a priority. I mean, if you head to any round, you've got to do the Canadian one.
I know. I told the team owner, I told Mike I wanted to do Toronto, but Toronto's a little bit different. It's hard to, it's kind of hard sometimes to get all the equipment up there because of going across the border. It costs a lot of money. So,
It is, definitely. Well, at least, I mean, if you don't race Toronto, you can come and hang out with us Canadians.
No, totally. I'm down. I love Canada. Come on, you know that.
I know.
So I got to put... Yeah, I got to put you on the spot, though. You're a Texas boy. I know, I've seen the Rangers hat on you, which is the right hat. My cousin works for the Rangers. But I got to ask you, I mean, you got a ton of football teams to choose from in Texas. Who's your team in Texas?
Over everything, I'm actually a basketball fan, man.
Okay.
I watch baseball and football. I watch pretty much all the ball sports, but I don't keep up too much on them. I'm mainly just a basketball fan, man. I'm a fan of the Mavericks. Obviously, they won the championship back like 5 years ago, and they've kind of gone in a little bit of a slump since then. But, I'm a basketball fan for sure.
Yeah, you a Mark Cuban fan?
I am. I'm a huge Mark Cuban fan.
Yeah.
He's the man. I think he's awesome as a team owner. He's a very involved team owner. I love how he shares kind of the emotion with the team, whether it's win or loss, and he's an involved team owner. I think he's a great team owner.
You need to get him involved in Supercross. There you go, man.
I know.
You need to get his pocketbook in Supercross.
I know. I was, it's funny. I was thinking about that a couple weeks ago. I was talking to Kyle Cunningham, and we were like, dude, we just need to get Mark Cuban to sponsor us and give us a couple $1 million to start, sponsor our team. Like, that would be pretty crazy. He would be an awesome sponsor for sure. That would be a huge piece of support.
Yeah, I can only imagine getting dirt bikes in Shark Tank on TV and everything else, right?
Yeah, no, like guest appearances on Shark Tank, that'd be what's up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Too funny. So, what's the next couple of months? I mean, I'm just looking in Supercross. I mean, we're literally like a month and a half away from the opener. I mean, what's the next 45 days look like for you?
Just a lot of testing. I have a couple test days this week, like I said, getting suspension, engines, and, tires. I have a lot of testing. Just getting everything up to par, which surprisingly I haven't done any testing, and it's already, honestly feeling pretty close where it needs to be, but getting everything where it needs to be and putting in laps, lap after lap, and I'm actually going to go home for a couple days over Thanksgiving about 3 weeks from now, so... I've got a pretty busy schedule coming up in the next couple months since I'm doing West to get ready, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Would you say, Matt, that there's more bike tuning that goes into Supercross opposed to outdoors, just with suspension and whatnot? Do you think there's a little bit more that goes into Supercross than outdoors when it comes to testing?
It's really hard to say. I think it's about even because you do motocross testing, and honestly, from what I've experienced, there's a lot more possibilities in motocross as far as just little tweaking stuff. But Supercross, the last couple of years in Supercross, it was easier for me to find a good setting than it was outdoors. So,
really?
That's a really hard question to answer. But I think obviously Supercross doesn't have huge ruts and huge braking bumps. You just if you can set your bike up to kind of hold up through the whoops and corner dip, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be a good setup just getting it through the whoops in the corners. So definitely, I think motocross is a little bit tougher to find a good setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, when you jump back and forth, I mean, how and this is a desert racer talking. I mean, and I know some of the differences, but as far as bike setup goes, I mean, and this is a new bike. I mean, is it completely starting all over for motocross season on getting the bike tuned and set up to you, or is it some of the stuff can you take from Supercross into motocross, or is it a total different animal?
No, yeah, it's a total different animal, man. Our suspension, for Supercross to get it to hold up on the jumps and through the whoops, you have to set the suspension up really, really stiff. So if you take that out to a motocross track, it's not going to be a very good time.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I don't know. I don't know, Amy. You got any? You've always got some off-the-wall questions. You got to have something up your sleeve for Matt.
We were just talking, and you were talking about Day in the Dirt. At the end of November here in California, and I'm trying to figure out everything and figure out a bike and get myself down to Day in the Dirt. But Matt said that he might be making an appearance too, if you can find a 450 with some who's not Supercross suspension. But
for sure.
Do you are you the type of guy who switches your focus up and stays interested in a bunch of different things? Or is your
your winter focus just Supercross?
No, you know, winter focus is mainly Supercross. I'm not going to lie to you, but, you know, over the weekend when I have kind of nothing else going on, I enjoy going doing races like Day in the Dirt. Like
That's important,
yeah, for sure. Keep the fun in it, you know. It's always pretty serious. So if you can hit little fun stuff like that every now and then, it really can do a lot for the longevity of your career, you know, just keeping a lot of fun in it. So, you know, yeah, like we were talking earlier, I'm trying to get a bike and possibly make an appearance out there. So that's going to be a good time if I can do that, and I'm really looking forward to that if I can come through with it for sure.
Well, and Day in the Dirt, I'm super familiar with that. I've had a ton of friends go out there and participate, man. That's no joke as far as competition goes, man. That's, you know, guys bring their A game to that.
I know.
That's funny. Amy and I were talking earlier, and she was just like, how does it work? Is it like a serious race, or like, is it just like a ride day? And I was telling her, I was like, I don't know how it works. Like, I know some guys go out there and they send it, but I kind of want to just go there and have fun, you know?
Yeah, it's a long course, too. I can't remember the exact length, but I've seen some aerial shots of it. And I don't know, there's an awesome documentary like 10 years ago on it. It's I don't know, it's no joke. A friend or two that I've had that have gone out there, I mean, it's bring your A game. You know, you can cruise around if you want, but there's a few guys out there just like, yeah, we're going for the win, you know?
I'm just going to
the Dirt champ, baby. Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
We'll just do 250 class through it.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
That's cool.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to call in, Matt. You know, obviously you got a ton to do in the next 6 weeks to get ready for you know, the kickoff there, and you know, definitely we'll have to grab you on after a round or two and see how the season's going.
Hey man, anytime. I'm always down. And have you guys already talked to Scott Speed?
Yeah, we had Scott on to kick off the show, but yeah.
Dang, dude, I'm a fan of him. You know, I've followed him since his F1 days.
Oh shoot, I know Scott well. We have him on from time to time. I'll have to next time we have him on, it'll probably be sometime next GRC season. But we'll have to get you guys on air at the same time or something.
Yeah, man, that'd be great. Like I said, I'm a fan of him. I'm a car guy. I like cars.
Nice. We'll have to get you out to some off-road races or something like that sometime when I'm out there. I'm trying to immerse Amy into my side of things, you know?
Yes, I was trying to bring
I'm down. Get me out.
He was going to be my co-driver, but I unfortunately wasn't able to make it out. But no, I told him I'd take him along for my, along my Polaris Razor.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah, well, yeah, Amy and I got to ride in Endurocross again next year. Just kind of a side project we do, but we'll get you out for that for sure.
Yeah, well, of course, let me know, man. I'll be down anytime. That'd be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, you take it easy, buddy, and we'll definitely talk soon.
All right, sounds good. It was nice talking to you guys, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, and congrats on the new ride.
All your new, all your new endeavors. This should be a good program for you. Got a good attitude?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
All right, take it easy, Matt.
See ya.
All right, talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
All right, awesome. You know, you can tell he is amped, Amy, on this new program.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah, you know, you got to root for somebody that's going into the season, just amped up, and I definitely, you can. People get in a rut, in motorsports, and I know I've been there before, and you get in a rut, and you just need something to re-energize you, and it can be something as simple as a sponsor. It can be something as, huge as an all-new bike and everything else like Matt, but sometimes you just need something to light the spark, and ignite the fire.
Yeah. But, at the end of the day, and it's, why Matt and I are friends, and, we have, connected, and, found a common interest is that, and what I kind of picked up from talking to him and stuff is that, when he was in a lull, when he didn't have a team and he didn't know what he was going to do, he still remained really optimistic and really positive. And you just don't find a lot of people like that nowadays with, who look inwards for their inspiration. They're not looking for an outside source. Like, they are in control of their happiness and ultimately, their destination, I guess, if you want to say. But that's the cool thing about him is that he, even when he was going through a little bit of a rough time there, that he didn't let it kind of dull his fire and dull his spark. And then when he just got the opportunity for his new team, it just kind of kicked everything into overgear. But he knew that he is a talented rider, and, he has such great success last year. And I think, Dirt Candy team really did a good job of picking the right guy for the team, and I think Matt will bring them lots of success. So pretty cool. Pretty rad, dude.
Yeah, well, and I've been there. He said it was kind of touch and go, and he didn't have anything signed for this year, and and everything came together. And I was there a couple of years ago. I know, in desert racing, having a tire sponsor is a huge deal, and there was a point where I was in between sponsors, and I didn't have anything signed, and it's literally sweating bullets because it's like, what am I going to do? We're, a month away from the season starting, and and I literally, it was over New Year's, I put something together with a phone call with a sponsor, and here we go, we're on General Tire, and been a phenomenal partner. But I've been there where you're just literally sweating bullets, like, what am I going to do? And it always ends up working out, but, there for a while, I know how it is. There's some sleepless nights.
Yeah, no, I've been in the same department. Every year, come October, contracts, or November, or October, November, depends. Like, in Canada, it's often October because we get snowfall, but, contracts end, and you're always looking to re-sign and, re-sign all of your deals and stuff, and every year my bike sponsorship ends, and that's kind of my biggest concern. And like you said, sleepless nights. Last year, I was waiting, honestly, until almost like our tracks were open. I didn't have a bike, which means I don't have suspension. I don't have, all the extra necessities that you need to get your bike ready and prepped up. When you have no bike, you have nothing else. So I have all these other sponsors lined up to get my bike all set up, but I don't have a dirt bike. So it was, it's pretty nerve-wracking, and I can completely understand the fear and the anxiety over it. But no, that's the industry. It's a very open door. People are changing in the industry. People, team managers leave, brand managers leave, and it's the industry's not where it was years ago. Let's just say that. Budgets get smaller every year, and people really rely on relationships. It's all about relationships. It's all, I'm kind of with the core group of people that I've been with for my whole racing career because, I really value their relationship and I value their support, and I never would want to kind of steer away from the people who've reached out and helped me out when I've had nothing. Like, I'd rather be with someone I am friends with in the industry than someone who can maybe offer me something better, because at the end of the day, your friends and the people who supported you from day one will always hopefully have your back. So.
Yeah, well, and that's definitely the truth. This industry, it's very very rare you can find somebody you can put 100% trust in, and when you have it, you tend to stick with it because it's a rarity these days.
Oh, for sure. But at the same time, there's a lot of new companies opening up and new teams, and it's really exciting. Like with Matt, he talked about his team being super awesome, and the people are really great. So maybe that team will grow and turn into something good too. So it's really cool to see all these, new people coming up through the woodworks as well. And it's exciting. With every closed door, there's something else that's open. So people just have to remain optimistic and positive. And as long as you're a cool person and a cool dude like Matt, I'm sure he has no problem finding anything.
Yeah, well, and obviously, not this first conversation I really had with him, but he seems like the type of guy. You go in, and I've dealt with certain athletes before, and some of them just aren't pleasant to be around, and you know what I mean. And Matt is not that way. He's total likable guy, and you can see sponsors would love to have him in their booth at a trade show. Others, it's a bit questionable, even though they could be a world talent.
Literally, some people are as dry as wallpaper. And, why would a team, when there's such a sea of athletes where, you can have A and B, and A and B are both, finishing the same place every other weekend and, the same type of rider. But when you got rider B who has a personality to go along with the talent, that's a guaranteed athlete that you want to be a part of. Like, attitude is also everything. Your personality, how you present yourself, how you market yourself is huge nowadays. Especially with social media. You are not only the face of a brand, but you are the personality of the brand and of your sponsors. And people sponsor people to, represent their company, not just on the track, but off the track. So it's really, really key how you hold yourself. And, it's funny, just the way social media works nowadays. And
when it's funny,
people pick up on who you are as a person now a lot more than they they could years ago.
Yeah, well, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because talking with Scott Speed, and he was saying that's a huge change in motorsports, and and he's my age, but when he got into it, he was lucky. He was a karting kid and going up through go-karts, and he won at a young age the Red Bull Formula One driver search, right, where they're looking for an American to go race Formula One. So immediately he jumps in on the Red Bull gravy train, and he had fully funded racing for 10 years of his career, where Red Bull just wrote a check. And he said it was great for me because he's like, I didn't have to worry about finding sponsorship, nothing. He's like, it was just go out and race. And he's like, talk about a blessing. But he's like, what I've learned now is he's teammates with Tanner Faust, and Tanner is one that grew his career from nothing, but he's had to do it by being in front of the camera and and driving this car when it was just a grind, and he's like, I can totally respect those guys. He's like, I was lucky enough I didn't have to do that, but you have to market yourself now differently than guys of 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, and that's, you can kind of look at it two ways. Some people with that natural talent don't really like that. Other people that, you don't have to be the fastest to sometimes get the same opportunities that people who just win races. But, there's two different types of people. There's those who can go out and win everything, but again, they might be boring as wallpaper. You can never put them in front of the camera. They can't talk to a crowd. They're not good with fans. And then there's those who maybe aren't always there, but they're just such amazing, brand ambassadors and athletes, and they're just all around great representations of the sport and, brands, and they're really, really valuable assets to the team. And, I don't think I think people need to embrace that more and embrace what these types of athletes can do for a brand and for a company. And, I try to position myself as that. Like I'm not going to go out and win all the world championships and the WMX nationals and stuff, but I know how to represent my sponsors, and I know how to talk, and I know how to, play the athlete role. And it is really important. And, if people are out there looking for some help and how they want, become a little bit better at that whole department, hit me up, because it's a very, learned skill. It's not easy, but it's cool because now you see these two different types of athletes out there. And, a lot of people have a lot of success just, doing the marketing side of it. So
yeah, well, and like Scott was saying, he was blessed to be in his position, but there's very few people that even on a dirt bike say go to Loretta's and do well, and all of a sudden somebody writes them a 7-figure check just to go and ride dirt bikes. The chances of that happening are so rare that you need to learn the other side of things, because it's a grind.
But also the field from where it was to where it is now, there may have only been a handful of athletes back then, and nowadays it's just, it's overpopulated and flooded with such talent that you need to do things to set yourself apart, because there's not just 10 guys, there's 50 guys who are at the same level as you, wanting the same thing, chasing the same dream. So, nowadays you need to do something to set yourself apart, and you need to show, your who you are as an individual, and it's getting to that point where you just need to do something else to stand out. It's almost like tracks, right? There's so many that are the same. It's like, okay, what else can I do to push the envelope to be cooler and better and different? And that's just, that's evolution of motorsports. Is you got to keep evolving. You got to keep pushing the limits, and you just really got to set yourself apart.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in again, Amy. And, I know we got lots of stuff popping and working, and looking forward to the next couple of weeks and months. And hopefully we'll be able to roll out some big announcements for both you and myself. But as always, fun having you on air.
Yes, thank you for having me. And I'm really looking forward to having Matt on after the, we'll bring him on after A1 for sure to let us know how, everything's been shaken up. And yeah, we gotta always keep in touch. We gotta do what do they have, reunions, where we bring all these people on that we talked about stuff before, and kind of check in and catch up to where we left off and stuff. So I really want to hear about our Taylor Roberts and how his wedding went, and if he incorporated anything motorsports related into his wedding, and we gotta bring on Amber and see where she's at and stuff. We gotta have a high school reunion episode.
Well, and I was just talking with about Taylor before before you came on, and Endurocross, I mean, he's right there. Ontario is, I think we're 2 weeks out of the finale for Endurocross in Ontario, but he is right there in this crazy championship battle. So, I mean, it's, you know, he's had a phenomenal year, you know, in Endurocross. So, yeah, I definitely think it's time to bring him back on. And, yeah, like you said, it's just kind of crazy. I know it's been almost a year since I've had Destry Abbott on, and Destry's getting ready to retire. It'd be great to have Destry and his son on air. You know, be able to talk with them, and you know, because Destry's kind of, I guess, I don't know, you know, I don't know. He's letting his son carry the torch, you know, after this year, and I think that's pretty cool.
Destry is going to be like a Kim Hood, okay? Like, I met the guy. If he's anything like my dad, which I really think he is, because he's just that, you know, all-American motocross rider who's, you know, been all, done all, seen all type of man who is extremely talented. He will never retire. I mean, he may retire from professional racing, but he'll be the kind of guy, like, you know, the die-hard out on the track, like, you know, every weekend kind of thing. Like, I just don't think he could ever retire. So I really would like to talk to him and pick his brain and see kind of, you know, where he's at and if he is like my dad.
I've got, I'll do that. As soon as this is over, as soon as this Endurocross season's over, we'll line up Destry and Cooper at the same time and get them on air. It'll be fun.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome.
Cool.
Well, you guys have a great rest of your week, and you know we've been getting snow here. It sucks. It was a decent weekend. I went fishing, but yeah, the snow is coming.
Well, I guess throw on the nails and go do some ice racing, right?
Yeah. Well, we gotta wait till the river freezes first.
Yeah. All right.
Take it easy.
Yep. Thanks, Amy.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that was Ami Houde and Matt Bisceglia. We're going to wind things out, running out of time here. Baja 1000 Endurocross, Best in the Desert, WRX, all coming up in the next couple of weeks. Recoil 3 dropping. Got to give a shout-out to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish Rally School, UPR.com, Blue Water Resort and Casino, Jamar Brakes, KMC Wheels, Parker Motor Company, Gibson Exhaust, MTX Audio. Give me a follow at Jim Beaver 15 on Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope, and follow at Ami Houde at Ami Houde 71. DownandDirtyShow.com for all those back episodes, and download our app today. Follow us on Facebook as well, Facebook.com/DownandDirtyShow. We will see you next week, talking some Baja 1000 and a whole lot more on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.